Hello, everybody, and it's Amy, Jim, and Zach today. Welcome to Make It Monday. We're going to talk about bobbin cases, bobbin tensions, especially why your embroidery machine comes with maybe more than one bobbin case. In some cases, they come with three. So we pulled Zach out of the technical department, and he's going to explain to you how and why the bobbin cases are different and why you treat them differently. Okay, we ready? All right, Zach, you're up.
So first we'll start with taking your bobbin case out for inspection. So right now we're working on a brother. So the brothers and the baby locks are very similar how they come apart. This model here, we just slide it out with our fingers and we can access our bobbin case. So we want to do this periodically for maintenance reasons because there will be a fuzz buildup. In fact, you can see there's some threads down in here now. When we do this, especially for cleaning, we want to remove our needle plate also. If it's a sewing machine, we want to make sure we clean in between the feed teeth of the feed dogs because there will be thread and lint build up over time and it'll cause your machine not to feed correctly. So we want to make sure that's always cleaned out. Rule of thumb is when we put our bobbin case back in after cleaning, we do the opposite of what we took apart. So we always want to put our needle plate on first because the machines do have a little stopper right here that keeps your bobbin case from spinning counterclockwise. And if you put your bobbin case in first, then it'll pinch it and it'll not allow it to sew. So now we got this out. We're going to inspect our bobbin case. We want to make sure that everything's clean. There's no rough edges around anything. And then when we put it back in, we want to sort of just put it in a little bit of like a 30-degree angle, drop into place. Most manufacturers do have an indicator mark on the bobbin case and on the bobbin stopper area to make sure it's lined up properly. Then we put it back together.
And it's supposed to jiggle, right, Zach? It's not locked tight. If it's locked tight, you have a problem.
Yeah, you have a little jiggle back and forth.
Two.
And then some of the different bobbin case options. So different machines come with different bobbin cases. So these two here are actually a Janome bobbin case. One is at 13 grams, one is at 10 grams. The higher the bobbin tension, that's normally for your embroidery. The 10 is their standard for the most part for regular sewing. And then some of the manufacturers offer a bobbin case for free motion quilting. So what it is all three of these bobbins are identical, but from the factory, they come with different tensions preset. So the free motion one, this one has a baby blue dot on it, is designed for you to take your screwdriver and the little flathead screw. It's designed for you to tighten or loosen it because when you're free motion quilting, you might get eyelashes bigger to the right or to the left, or depending on how fast you're moving. Adjusting that screw tighter or looser will help you balance your top and bottom tensions to not allow you to have the eyelash. Then on your embroidery machine, especially as the bobbin cases start to wear, get older over time, or you might have a little bit of buildup down in the lint from the thread down in this area. If we take this screw and tighten it a little bit, this will prevent your bobbin thread from coming up to the top of your embroidery design.
So it's lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Correct.
And we're talking a crumb to the right, not
a
full turn.
Start with, maybe a 1/16 of a turn at a time and just test it as you go. Now for sewing, the same thing. If you're doing a straight stitch and you see that your knot is towards the bottom, you can loosen it slightly to help bring your bobbin thread to the top, or tighten your top tension to bring your knot to the middle of your fabric. But same thing with doing like a zigzag. If you want to balance your top and bottom zigzag, you can use your bobbin case along with your top tension to even your stitches out. Now, these two are from a brother baby lock version. So you can see this one has a dot. This one does not have a dot. The ones with the dots are typically your embroidery bobbin cases from brother. That way you can know the difference by looking at them. This one is set tighter from the factory than this one is. But same thing, same bobbin cases. So if you have two sewings and you need to make one embroidery case, all you do is just tighten the screw. There's no physical difference between the bobbin cases.
Right. So all you're doing is controlling how tight that is. So for embroidery, you want a tighter tension.
Yes.
Yes. So the tighter tension.
And even for regular embroidery, if you have no issues and then all of a sudden you're starting to do micro fonts or really tight small satin stitches, you might notice your thread starting to come up a little bit. You can just simply stop your machine, pull your bobbin case out, slightly tighten your flathead screw, and it'll help prevent that. Now, some of the manufacturers do have some sort of paint or fingernail polish on it. And what that does is that is a Loctite to keep the screw from moving. But if you just put your screw in there, your screwdriver in there, slightly turn it, it'll turn with your screwdriver without a problem.
So Reen from Embroidery Garden asked, how do you clean between that little spring? Because I noticed like terry cloth is a big offender. Polyester battings, like the needle travels it down in there. And how do you get it out?
So with the horizontal bobbin cases, that's this style here, you can take a little fine tip screwdriver or like tip of a business card and sort of spread this. Because all it is a piece of metal that's using the screw to act as a spring to keep tension on it. So what we can do is we can loosen our screw up a little bit to allow us to open this up some more. If you do drop the screw out, it is pretty difficult to get everything lined back up again. So try not to loosen it too far. But the biggest thing is just spread it up a little bit. For the most part, you can sort of look in there to see if you see anything. Tip of a business card will work. If you put a business card in there and sort of push everything right to left. And then again, we don't like using canned air a lot in our sewing machines, but this is, if it's out of the machine, we can spread it, take a little bit of canned air, blow on it, and then reset our tension. But a lot of times, especially if it's a newer bobbin case or, within a couple of years and you're getting weird tension issues, there's a good chance you could have a buildup in there. Now, the vertical bobbin cases, I don't have one in front of me, but like the Berninas use and the PR series use same theory. Just hold it upright, take a business card, push it down through the tension discs, and it will push all the thread and wax buildup and everything else from your threads and your pre-wounds out. So you don't always necessarily need a bobbin case. It might just be a cleaning, but they do wear out though.
All right, so Terry has a question. If you have a bobbin in a top-loading bobbin case, how can you test the tension out of the machine when the bobbin case is out of the machine, like you do with a front-loading bobbin case? You know how like you dangle it and shake it?
So they do sell pull gauges. You can find them from different manufacturers. You can find them on Amazon. That what it is you will put your bobbin into your bobbin case like you normally would for sewing.
That's a great question, Terry. What I normally do is I have extra bobbin cases and I put a new one in and I hand the old one to Zach to fix it.
So the gauge has a finger on it that you essentially tie a knot. And what you do is you pull on it and the finger will deflect back and forth. And it'll read on an analog gauge of what your grams are as you're pulling. So like the Janome, it says right on it, 13 grams for embroidery, 10 grams for sewing. Different machines run differently. I've had machines that, I've had to tighten just because it liked it a little bit tighter, a little bit looser. But if you just take out your machine now with no issues and you pull on it, you can sort of get a mental point to where there's resistance, but it's not over resistance. If you have to fight to pull it, it's probably too tight. But if you're barely pulling it, it's just unspooling, it probably needs tightened up or you might have some buildup in your discs.
And bobbin weight thread has a lot to do with it also. Like Janome likes the fuzzier thread and my brother likes that the slick thread.
So different machines like different bobbin weights. Even though they might be the same weight, depending on how the thread is gassed, some has more resistance than others. The Janome pre-wounds work great from the Janomes out of the factory. If you do switch to a lighter bobbin, like maybe a dime pre-wound or something like that, where the thread is not as thick, we'll say, there'll be a different resistance. So you might need to snug it up, a quarter turn or an eighth turn to get it to where you want it. And then once it's set for that bobbin weight, you'll be fine moving forward.
Right. And then there's also a bobbin case that has a purple dot in the Brother Baby Lock world. It's for yarn couching, free motion quilting, where you can change that screw. And the bobbin cases are different. It's just how you manage the bobbin case is different. So I I have a spare bobbin case. It looks like my everyday bobbin case. I put a dot of fingernail polish on it, so I know that's what that is. And I can adjust it for bobbin work. Zach, do you agree with that, Zach? I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, they're all the same bobbins for the most part. As long as it's for your machine, you can turn the screws and adjust them how you want to. We have customers with multiple bobbin cases. They have one for, freestanding lace because you can get away with a lot tighter bobbin because you're matching top and bottom thread and it pulls everything to the back. One for sewing, one for free motion. It's all personal preference. Then we have some customers, they keep one bobbin case in there for everything they do. So some of it's the projects you do is going to depend how picky your machine is going to be. And then also depends how picky you are. I've had customers come in with a magnifying glass, look at their fabric, it says their tensions are off. There's other ones, their tensions are blatantly off and it's sewing horrible and they don't think anything's wrong with it. So a lot of it's just personal preference on how critical you are on your project and your machine.
All right. Anybody got any questions out there for Zach? So it's always great to have a spare bobbin case in your sewing stash because we can sew through them. The other thing is bobbins wear out. If you're rewinding your bobbins, they get rough on the edges. That's also a cause. But your bobbin case also wears out because it gets constantly spun around and the interior gets moved from the bobbins. And so, it's always good to have a spare.
Because your bobbins can cause you some aggravation. We get machines in repair all the time. That is a relatively new machine that's supposed to be using a plastic 7/16 bobbin, and they have an old Singer metal bobbin in there. Not saying it won't sew, but the drag's different than the plastic bobbins. The height's different. So those little things can cause you some issues. And same thing with pre-wounds. There is only one manufacturer I know of, and that's Janome, that their pre-wounds are designed to be refilled. They are true, real sewing bobbins that have thread on them. A lot of the, we sell a lot of the dime bobbins for the pre-wounds. They're designed to be thrown away. So the big difference is, and it's sort of hard to tell on the camera, is the plastic quality is a lot different.
They're high silicone content, so they're more rubbery than plasticky. That's my technical.
And
there's a little give to
it. It's quieter. If you use a high silicone bobbin from the manufacturer and you pay, let's say $12 a dozen, whatever they are now, 10 for 10, it's a much quieter bobbin case because it's higher silicone.
But the plastics are a lot different to where the pre-wounds that are designed to be thrown away, the plastic will break down faster. You'll have more chance for sharp edges because, again, they're not necessarily designed to be rewound again. I mean, you'll put them on and they'll work, but they're not designed that way necessarily when you look at the quality between a bobbin you buy in blanks or the Janome pre-wounds versus the other brands that are just generically pre-wound.
Okay, Embroidery Garden asked a question. When should you use the bobbin adapter that comes with the Baby Lock Brother machines? It looks like a little silver golf marker.
The adapter is, in fact, I think they might still be coming with some of them. That adapter was mainly brought out for when Brother and Baby Lock years ago, when they switched over from the 3/8 bobbin to the 7/16 bobbins. That's mainly what that's for. So those people that had, bobbins from their old machines would work the new machines. People with Vikings that have converted to Brothers will use those for their pre-wounds because it's a shorter bobbin. My theory with it is that you should be buying the right bobbins for your machine. So after you use your stock of pre-wounds or whatever that you have that you need to use the adapter, get rid of the adapter, buy the right bobbins, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore because that's just one less failure point you have to worry about.
Right. And we see that with people buying a case of bobbins on Temu that are pre-wound, and they wonder why their tensions are off or why their thread's shredding, and it really makes a world of difference.
But that being said, I support pre-wounds 100% though, because there's no way you can physically wind a bobbin on your machine that is that full and that tightly wrapped. So you definitely do get more bang for your buck with the
Put your face on there.
with the pre-wounds. But yeah, it's personal preference. We sell the thread that's, a couple different weights that people can wind their own bobbin thread. And then we sell a lot of pre-wounds too. So a lot of it's personal preference. But
so Terry wants to know, should you replace your bobbin case if it's not damaged every year?
No, there's no reason to replace the bobbin case if there's no sewing issues or tension issues. the big thing we see is more damage to bobbin cases than tension issues for servicing. Either they'll misthread the machine and it ends up getting stuck on the spool tower or something, and it spins the bobbin case. And what happens is when your thread gets stuck, or like it gets stuck in your spool cap, your bobbin will hyperextend counterclockwise and go past the stopper that keeps it from sitting there. And then what happens is you can get needle nicks up in here. The piece we were talking about earlier that keeps your bobbin to prevent it from going backwards. It can cause damage, cause scratches and gouging. And if you have those scratches and gouging, what happens is as your thread is going around, as it's sewing, it'll get stuck on those nicks and then give you inconsistent stitching. So you might see a couple good straight stitches and then one that looks like it's pulled out a little bit. And that's usually caused by something on the needle plate, a needle burr, or something in your bobbin case or hook area that's randomly getting your thread stuck and causing that problem.
Ooh, that was a lot of information, Zach.
Yeah.
I agree. So if you don't want your face on here, son, you better run. He was not prepared to be on camera today. So I think we should have like Tech Tuesdays or something.
Oh, that'd
have
be good. Yeah.
Zach on doing a little something every week. Hi, Barbara. Always check your bobbin case, right? I take it out, I turn it upside down, I rub my finger on it. Or the best test is like a cotton ball or a piece of batting, something's going to catch and snag, and you can see those snags very easily. So we know the thread goes under your bobbin case and turns around. I don't think people realize that. So have him back. He's amazing. I know it's my baby Terry. I will tell you something. He's slowly taking over everything here at the store, and he runs a great repair service product back there. So we're good. So we just want to touch base today. Jim and I were stumped, and Zach was out there eating his lunch. I'm like, hey, buddy, what are you doing? All right, everybody. I'm live tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you have not gone to Amy Sews and registered for the free scan and cut class, you won't get any files. So if you want the files, you might want to go to Amy Sews, go to individual classes, click on the free scan and cut class, and make sure I have your email so I can email you the design. So I'll see some of you tonight at 6. All right, everybody, we're out of here because the more you know, the more you know.